Sandi Toksvig is one of Britain's most loved and probably hardest working writers and comedians. From hosting long-running radio shows and TV hits like QI and Bake Off to her campaign work and writing over 20 books.
And now she's preparing to get back on the road to celebrate the publication of her latest novel, which is called Friends of Dorothy, and she's here to tell us all about it. Good morning.
It's so nice to be here. We were just commenting, the sofa's got no more comfortable, has it?
It's worse.
I know.
Sorry about that.
It's not meant to be a pleasant experience.
We will try to make it as comfortable for you being on it as we can.
It's lovely to see you.
Tell us about Dorothy.
So I wanted to write a book where I didn't have to do any research and it just made you laugh out loud. And I think I've achieved it because a friend was reading it on a train and said it needed to come with a volume control because she laughed out loud. It's the story of a woman called Dorothy, who's a 79-year-old cantankerous old so-and-so, foul-mouthed, full of energy. She sells her house to a young lesbian couple, and on the day they move in, she fails to move out. And it turns out, legally, it's very difficult to get rid of somebody if they have decided not to leave when they sell you their house.
Now, you said this is a book you didn't have to do any research about. I'm now slightly worried.
You're a squatter.
I am a squatter, yes, I am that old lady. It's about families that we create, the families that we make for ourselves, you know, the ones you have with your friends or the ones you have with your colleagues. So what I refer to as the logical family and not the biological family. And hopefully it's funny and touching at the same time.
Is Dorothy based on anyone in particular?
So the truth is that I know a lot of feisty old women. One of my great friends is the glorious actress Sheila Hancock. And I've known Sheila since I was 18 and I'm now 66, so that's a very long-standing friendship. And don't mess with her. So it's not her, because she's not foul-mouthed in any way, Sheila. It's not her, but I know many women who you just think, you're fantastic, and you continue to be fantastic in your 80s and 90s.
I just have to tell you that for people at home who are watching, this sofa might not be very comfortable, but actually the sofa behind us there, that's actually Dorothy's sofa.
It is. It's entirely based on this sofa.
3 pairs of shoes.
Yeah. So it's the 3 people who end up
Yes.
sharing a house together. Yeah.
And you talk about your logical family, the kind of the family that you grow into rather than maybe the family that you're born with. And that's something that lots of people, it's a reality that lots of people are living nowadays.
Well, I think that's true. So we used to talk about the typical family, which was the mum and the dad and the 2 kids. About 5% of people actually live in that situation. Most people have divorced families or single parents or many, many different kinds of families. And I don't know about you, but particularly after lockdown, my friends, I miss them so much. And since lockdown, I find that we now say, I love you to each other in the way that you would to a family member. And we didn't used to say it to each other. And I really want to value those relationships because I think they're the thing that keep us going, really, in many instances.
Yeah, we were talking last week about the COVID inquiry and about the medical response to it. But a lot of people got in touch then saying those years affected my mindset, my lifestyle.
Absolutely.
In a way that I can never really explain. Is that part of what you wanted to do with this?
It is part of that. I want to celebrate it. I want to celebrate, you know, our neighbours and our community. I'm very lucky to live in a small village in the country, and the people in the community and the people that I work with, we're busy together as a community restoring 40 acres of ancient woodland. And those moments when we're together on a Sunday and laughing and drinking coffee in the woods, those are so important to me, and that has become family to me in the same way as I'm delighted when my blood family get together.
I heard you on the radio yesterday, on Radio 4, talking about having been out with a chainsaw at the weekend.
Don't mess with me, darling. Do not mess
I wouldn't dare anyway, but I
am that feisty old lady. Do you know what it was? So every time I called somebody out with a chainsaw to do something, it was £500, and I thought, it can't be that difficult. Boys can do it, so surely I can do it. And I got myself a chainsaw, and I love it in a slightly worrying way. I think
What
it's
were you
marvellous.
doing with the chainsaw, Sandi?
So one of the problems with ancient woodland, it's not been looked after for generations. This particular plot, probably about 4 generations, and it's choking with holly. And holly can grow, to the size of a large tree trunk, and we're clearing it. And when you watch the sunlight come down onto the forest floor for the first time in over 100 years, it's fantastic. In just 2 years, we've doubled the number of native bluebells in the woods. And honestly, it makes you feel thrilled. It's like one of the best things that I do.
I suppose the risk of enjoying using the chainsaw is that you get a bit overzealous with it and you cut down a bit too much.
No. I promise you, there is an absolute
deforestation.
There is a plan. We have failed to look after our woodlands for a very long time, and they were always managed. But we've got about 2.5% of our ancient woodland left, and of that 2.5%, about 7% is in good condition. And I think we must save it because it's good for the soul.
Sandi, I know you still work incredibly hard, working all the time, touring, writing, all of this, but you sound to me like you might have found a balance.
Yeah, I think that's probably true, actually, darling. My beautiful wife, I've been married 18 years, and I'm crazy about her. So just last night I was in Manchester and we didn't see each other. We can't wait to have dinner together tonight. It's just slightly pathetic. Moving into the woods, listening to the owls at night and the dark and watching the bats flying. Yeah, it's good for you. But the wonderful thing is, can I just say, it's available to anybody in this country. We have some amazing open spaces and anybody can volunteer. You can work with the Woodland Trust, for example, who I work with. There's just lots of things you can do, and I recommend it to everybody because literally being grounded is good for you. It makes you feel good.
Does it make you feel good to be out with audiences face to face as well when you're talking about the book? Is that something else that you wanted to?
I mean, that's the other thing.
Reassert after the pandemic?
Absolutely wanted to do that. So we're doing this show. Everybody who comes and buys a ticket gets a free copy of the book, so that you can carry on being entertained, hopefully at home. When you get into a live audience, a very strange thing happens. Your heart rate starts to synchronise with everybody in the building, and you become calmer. You are 30 times more likely to laugh if you are in an audience with other people. So come, relax, have a laugh. And the other thing is, I do half an hour where the audience can ask me anything, and believe me, they do.
Go on. What's the worst one?
Well, I had a woman in Bradford ask me what my bra size was, and I couldn't remember, so she had to come up and have a look. So I'm just saying... yeah, why not? You know, okay. I'm not shy. Actually, I still can't remember. If you want to have a look at it. I don't know if they do that on this show. I don't know if that's a thing.
Probably, yes. We do everything on this show. It's fine.
But we missed each other during lockdown, and there's a thing of looking each other in the face and saying, hello, talk to me. I had an old guy said, has anybody got an unusual job? And he put his hand up and he said, I'm the last handmade bicycle maker in Britain. Well, that's quite interesting, isn't it? So he chatted for 5 minutes. I said, thank you very much. And I moved on to the next question. He came down to the stage, he walked all the way down, he banged on the stage and said, I hadn't finished. I went, OK. So I got a cup of tea and a chair, and he did another 10 minutes. And you just think, well, how marvellous is that? It's great.
Oh, it's marvellous to have you here. And I tell you what, it's timely as well, because we were talking this morning, we've got a lovely story we're going to play a bit later, about a lady who's found her long-lost family in Australia, and she's finally been reunited with her siblings. But it's a reminder that it's not just genetics as well with family. From what you were saying, it's that logical as well as biological family as well.
Yeah, and it matters, and I think we should celebrate it.
Oh, I couldn't agree more, Sandi. Thank you very much. And it's nice to all be together.
It's
to have you here face to face on our not very comfortable sofa.
Maybe use your chainsaw on the sofa. We can,
I mean, don't tempt me.
See you soon. Thank you. Sandi's new book, Friends of Dorothy, it's released next week.